Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. A couple of weeks ago, I attended On Stage in Paris. On Stage is an event for Stampin Up demonstrators. At the event, we traded crafts. It's called swapping. One of the swaps I received is this cute little mechanical pencil holder. So this is a little big pencil, and there's a little elf on there, and it's using Santa's Workshop Designer Series paper. And there's a cute little list on the back. Remember, I said I was in Paris, so the list is in French. And I just loved it. And I showed 6 videos on all the swaps that I had when I came back. And then 2 of my viewers asked me to do demonstrations. So I want to give them a shout out because this tutorial is dedicated to you. So Tracy 0872 said, please do a tutorial on the mechanical pencil holder. And then Sherry Lee said, please do a tutorial on the pen holder with the list on the back. So this was a pencil, not a pen, but this is the list on the back. So this is the tutorial that you both wanted. And I hope that you can all benefit from this tutorial because these make great Christmas gifts or holiday gifts or just fun little things for your Secret Santa, or you could also sell them at craft fairs. If that's too late this year, go to make some for next year. Very easy to make. Okay, so I didn't have, now most of the time I was telling you that I look at my swaps and I try to find the contact information and try to figure out how something was done by looking at someone's blog. So I tried to take this swap apart and I couldn't find any contact information. I'm going to just pull the pencil out. Okay, so there it was. I was left to figure it out on my own. And I did a lot of trials and I came up with the measurements for doing this project. Okay, so I have a template here that I'll show you in just a minute. So we'll make 2 of these, one with from start to finish, and then we'll make another one where I show you the template and we just do the second part, which is the scoring, because that part's the trickier part. Okay, so first we're gonna take a piece of basic black. This is basic black cardstock, and always use cardstock because it's thicker. Okay, and so you want to cut this 2 inches. Now in the Stampin' trimmer, there is, let me just show you. Let me put them back to the top. There are 2 blades, and so you have a score blade and a cutting blade. And it's hard for me to tell them apart just by their color, so I put a C on the cutting blade. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut that 2 inches. I love this Stampin' trimmer because the 1/4 inch marks are marked off so nicely. Okay, so we have our 2 inch. Now we're gonna go 9 3/4 inch. So we're gonna open up this extender here so we can get to 9 3/4. I mean, not 3/3, 3/8 of an inch. That's why I have my template, which I'll show you right after I cut this. Okay, 1. Okay, so we have, that's a 1/4 inch. So we got 1/8, 2/8, 3/8 of an inch. So right before the half. Okay, so there we go. So now we have, and I always show you my template now because I also want to double check my template. So here's our measurements. 9 3/8 inches by 2 inches. Okay, great. Okay, now we're going to do the scoring, and then I'll show you the template, and then we'll do the scoring one more time after I make one of these fully. All right, so the scoring is going to be, we're going to do 7/8 of an inch is the first score. And I always like to do it a couple times because different angles. Invariably someone says, I couldn't see very well, so I try to move my camera or my scoreboard around. So I'm at 7/8 of an inch and I'm scoring. Okay, and then I'm going to score at 1 1/4 inch. Okay, and then I'm going to score at 7. Let's move this down. 7 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so that's a half. So that would, a half is 4/8. So let's go one more smidgen, and that's 5/8 of an inch. And there goes my light. Sorry. Okay, but that's okay. I think I forgot to turn it on anyway. Okay, and then we have 8 1/2 inches. Okay, so that's 8.5 inches. All right, so good. So now we're gonna just fold along the score lines. And while I'm folding, I'm gonna just put that template there so you can see it. Where is the score marks? Sorry, my camera's shaking, my light fell down. Okay, so we don't need the light anyway. I have good lighting in this room. I'll just turn on. Oh, all the lights are on. Okay, so anyway, let me keep on folding. I don't want to block that for you. Okay, so fold along all the score lines. And at this point, you're going to punch, okay? So what we're using now is the Stampin' Up! Tag Topper punch. That's this one. I use it all the time. Thousands of times I've used this punch. Very heavy duty, and it's good for making bookmarks and tags. Okay, I'm just gonna flip my tag over. I'm just gonna make sure that it's in there. Good. And I'm gonna squeeze, and there's the top. Okay, and I'm gonna do that again to the bottom. Well, actually, that was the bottom. This is the top. It doesn't really matter. It only matters because we're making one a little bit bigger. Okay, so now you need to make this hole a little bit bigger. Okay, that hole there. So what I did is I tried doing different things. First of all, I tried like using like this kind of punch, which is one that you'd use for like making like ID card holders. It's pretty heavy duty. But then I found out that a hole punch worked a little better because I can see what I'm doing. And so I just went in there with a hole punch and I just made the hole a little bigger. Okay, see, I could see what I'm doing. That's what I mean by I can see what I'm doing, because I was able to see a little bit of space on each side. And then maybe one more hole, but don't go down too far. You just want to make the pencil go slip in it. Yeah, see, I just made a couple little holes, so that makes it so the pencil has room. You'll see in a minute. Okay, and I will do the scoring part again at the end after I make the little treat. So this is the top and this is the bottom. Now let's get the one to compare to, or the one that's mine. I gotta find the one from the event, okay? And I just want to show you, because they were using probably centimeters and I'm using inches, but we're pretty close, right? And what I did worked, see? So I guess imitation is the best form of flattery, so I hope somebody doesn't mind me showing how to do this, because I didn't know who created it in the first place. But I give credit to whoever that was. I'm not taking credit for this idea. Okay, so there, see how it lines up. So that's what we're doing. So now the idea next is to cut some designer series paper, you know, to go here, here, and here. And you always want to leave a little space. Okay, so let's find my little template for that. Okay, so you have, and I was going to write this in pencil because you couldn't see down here. So you have a piece of 6-inch by 1 7/8 inch designer series paper. And then you're going to cut it. I'm just going to reach and grab my pen. So you're going to cut it so that you have a 5-inch piece here. So this is 5-inch. And then you have a 3/4 of an inch piece here. And then you have a 1/4 inch there, okay? So let me bring that closer. I tried to use my Sharpie marker and it just was a little bit too thick to write with. Okay, so let's do that. Let's get a piece of designer series paper. Okay, this is by Stampin' Up. It's called Santa's Workshop. And what I like about their paper is it's flocked, meaning it has texture to it. It has little fuzz on it. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to make the paper 1 7/8 inches by 6 inches. I'm going to just go ahead and make a whole 12 inches, because then I can cut it in half and make 2 treats out of this one piece of paper. Okay, so this is a 12-inch, and I'm just going to go ahead and get 6 inches for our purposes. Okay, so there's our 6 inches by 1 7/8 inches. Okay, so now we want to cut off so we have 6 inches, so now we want to cut off 1/4 inch. So let's just go down here to 5.75 so we can cut off that 1/4 inch, because it's a very small sliver. Okay? That's all we need for that part. And then we're going to go down to 5 inches, and then we're going to get that 3/4 inches that we need. Okay, so there's our little slivers. And then this part is like, we can put this part on the treat holder inside, and then we can put this part like opposite on these parts. All right, so let's do that. Now I tried rolling adhesive, which worked fine, but in the end, I think the thing that worked better was for this whole project was just good old glue. I like my tacky glue. You have to do what you're comfortable with, because when I tried rolling adhesive, like the actual little flaps came apart. Maybe because the cardstock is so thick, but these popped right open. And I was like, oh no. So I had to re-glue them all anyway, so even though they were all done with rolling adhesive. So keep in mind, like, this will be the top, so make sure if you have a pattern on your paper that you face the pattern up, right? Okay, and just put a little bit of glue down there. I've already lost my 1/4 inch. Oh, here it is. 1/4 inch sliver. All right, so I'm only doing, so notice now, let me just turn this whole thing upside down so my crafty friends can see this. These go on the back, okay, because when you flip them over, they're on the front. Okay, so these little pieces. So now don't do the middle piece yet, because I like to glue one side down first, because then you can sort of put this where it goes. Okay, so let's do the bottom side. We're just going to glue the bottom side down. Put a little glue in there. Hold it. Now this part, okay, because we scored, this is a little flap. So that's the part that's going to hold the pencil in place. Okay, I love that. I love this little pencil. I like mechanical pencils better than regular pencils. You don't have to sharpen them, and it makes it really nice. Okay, now the top. Actually, before I put the top on, I like to put this one in first. I like to put the middle piece of paper in, because then the top sort of covers it up. And also, before I put the middle piece of paper in, I like to staple my little shopping list on the back. So my variation of this is a shopping list. Okay, you can do more than one piece of paper if you want. In this case, what do I have here? A couple of different, there's 2 pieces, 2 shopping lists. Okay, I made the shopping list about 2 inches wide, and I cut them out with a paper trimmer, and I'll show you how I made those in a minute or I'll show you what that looks like when I printed them out for my Word document. Okay, so I put the shopping list on, and then I staple it, and I staple it with, I think I have green staples in here, because I like little colored staples. I'll try to link to all my materials in the description that I'm using. So, see, I like little colored staples. And then there's the shopping list, so that's on the back, and then you could put a couple there if you want, or just one is fine. Now you want to cover up the staple, so that's why you put this on next inside, because then you can cover up the staple. Okay, so let me put some glue on here. I'm putting a little bit extra glue in the middle than I would normally, because this is paper, like I said, is flocked, so it's all fuzzy. So I want to make sure it really stays in there, because it's really thick. And I also like using glue because it's forgiving. You can move your paper around and get that exact edge that you want on both sides. That little bit of black showing. Okay, so now we want to glue the top. Okay. But not the whole thing. We're only gluing this middle part. This part. Could have put the glue right there. But not this part, because this little flap is where we put our pencil. Okay, so we're going to get a mechanical pencil. I have a bag of them here. So I'll have a link to Amazon where you can get these in bulk. Like, you can get them in packs of 40. I paid a little too much at the regular store, but in Amazon, they're cheaper. They're like $1/4 each, which is pretty cool. All right, so look. See how it already just popped open? I mean, that's why, because you need to hold it for a second, just to give it a good seal. I think it's good now. All right, so now we need to decorate this pencil. So let's get something from my little bin. I always like, if you've been watching my tutorials, I show you how to cut out different things using the Brother ScanNCut. So I cut out all these little elves and little things using my Brother ScanNCut. I used the designer series paper, and I cut out loads and loads of embellishments. I just use them all day long for projects. So here, let's put this little elf on here, and we can use a little piece of like a piece of foam adhesive. So we'll just cut that. Just a little sliver of it. And you don't need too much. He's only a little elf. So I'm going to cut a little piece of foam adhesive. Okay, just a little piece. And I'm putting it on the pencil. Hey, you could do this with a pen too. This is a standard size pencil, so why not? Could do this with a pen, why not? Okay, and then I'm putting the little elf on there. And you know the reason I chose this particular color is it matches his belt. And if I had a blue one and I wanted to cover it up, I could use a different. Okay, but I also show you some other variations where I stamped it. Then you slip your pencil in. Remember, that's why we did the hole. We punched the hole. And at this point, you might need to make the hole a little wider. But it's okay, you can still probably reach right in there with your hole punch, even though you put the glue on already. Don't go too far though, because you need some paper there. Okay, pretty good. It goes right in, and then the pen goes right in. And how cute is that? And here, let's stick the bottom. Let's stick that there. How cute. So then I did some other things. I want to show you what else I did, because I was thinking, I was like, I'll show you. So I have this one stayed in just fine. I put a little elf down there with the North Pole to help him stay in. So on the shopping list, I put some extra little things on the shopping list, like little extra embellishments. So let me just grab something like that. Maybe here's some candy canes cut out using the Brother ScanNCut. So here, just get a little candy cane. This is the one we just made. Flip them over, and you can put something on your shopping list page. So just to make it cute, there you go. Okay, so I did that on the back of all of mine. I did something. See, there's a little ribbon. There's the one they did, and okay, here's another one, and here's a couple candy canes. Okay, and then so just to tell you, this one is, I used crushed curry. This is the cardstock is called crushed curry because it pulls in the color from the star. It's a coordinating color with the sweet. Okay, and one more thing I did, by the way, is I put a little like for you at the bottom, because sometimes this flap was coming open. Not open, but it didn't really hold the pencil, so that's my little trick for you. I put the little saying there, just like, I'll do it right now just to show you. So you take your circle punches. I did this. This is a 1 inch or 3/4 inch circle punch. Here, there's one already made. And then this is 1 inch, okay? So you have 3/4 inch and 1 inch, and you put them together. So there's one already made. And we just put that on. And what it does is it helps make this stay on better. I think that's one I colored in vanilla, but it's okay. Sometimes I use pure white and sometimes I use vanilla. Put a little, because I'm trying to match the papers. Okay. All right, good. So this is what I do. I go in there, I stick it in there like that, just to kind of hold it. That way this thing's not coming, this little flap is not coming open because the For You is holding it in there. Okay, so I will take the time to show you a couple more samples and those stamp sets that I used for this project. And then I'll make just the scoring part one more time. Okay, all right. And the paper's already cut for my next example. Let's show you the stamp sets. So the For You, just this sentiment only, just this, For You, is from Candy Cane Season, which is part of our holiday catalog, which is good until January 2nd. And I'll have a link to my Stampin' Up store where you can get things from the holiday catalog. This is so cool, this is sweet, because it comes with a little candy cane builder punch. Okay, and then the actual, this is for my next one. And then I use Signs of Santa for the next two samples I'm going to show you. So I use Signs of Santa. I got a Santa and colored them in. I'm going to show you that. Okay, so let me move these out of the way and just show you a couple variations in vanilla. Because what happened is I was like thinking, well, number one, I'm running out of, I think I have like 1 or 2 sheets left of Santa's Workshop Designer Series paper. So I thought, what other paper do I have? So I looked around my house and I wanted to find some stash of something that had some small patterns on it. So that's when I chose this paper here, and it's not something you're going to be able to find probably, but I know you have paper in your stash. Every crafter has paper in their stash. So this is, it's just something very old. My Mind's Eye paper. And so it had like a vanilla background, so then I stamped the Santa in vanilla, and he came out pretty cool. I was very surprised actually that he looked so good, not being pure white. But I had to use that color because that's the color of the background, and pure white wouldn't look right. So then I stamped Ho 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 using a retired stamp set I had. It's like an oldie but goodie. It's actually called Oh Goodie, and it's just something that just has a few sayings, and it just happened to fit like right perfectly on top. Here, let me take out so you can see it. Ho Ho Ho. Okay, so again, designer series paper, you just use one side for the trees and the other side was for the sentiment. And then I Poppy Prayed, which is the color I used to color in Santa. Actually, Poppy Prayed really coordinated well with that set. Okay, so here's the colors I used. I used Poppy Prayed to color with the Stampin' Blends. Dark Poppy Prayed, it's called. I used Crushed Curry for Santa's, not Crushed Curry, sorry, what is it? Dark Mango Melody for Santa's belt. And these are just a color lifter, I didn't use that. Oh, I didn't use that either. I did use the Swing Castella, which is it's the make the sparkle on the list and on his beard. I don't know if you can see that because my light fell down, so you probably can't see that, sorry. And then I have this little ivory color for his face. But then I chose to use a different kind of ivory. But I started out, this is ivory for his face. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So let's just make a little bit of room. And I'm just gonna go like this, just so I can show my crafty friends one more time what to do with a piece of paper that you have. And I'm gonna show you the template one more time, in case you had to run out, go somewhere, and you missed the last time I flashed it across. Of course, all my measurements are going to be in the description as well. All right, so we already have the piece of paper, and of course the template is gone in that short period of time. I must be very, here it is, 9 3/8 by 2 inches. Okay, so this is a piece of basic black cardstock. Use whatever cardstock you have. Okay, so that's already cut. So let's get rid of the cutting blade. We're getting rid of the cutting blade. And we're gonna just score. And here's what we're gonna score. 7/8, 1 1/4, 7 5/8, and 8 1/2. Okay, so I'm gonna just get right up here, give you a good view of this. So we need 7/8 of an inch. Okay, we're right here. A little bit of a glare, but we can do this. Okay, there's 7/8 of an inch. I'm going to put my finger there and hold it. Okay, and then we want 1 1/4 inch. Okay, there's 1 1/4 inch. Okay, and then we have 7 5/8 inch. So here we are. So 7 5/8, so 7 4/8 is a half. So then 7 5/8 is one smidgen beyond. 2 little notches. Okay, and then we're going to score that. And then we have 8 1/2. And I like having my cheat sheet in front of me because you don't know how many of these I messed up before I can share this with my crafty friends. Okay, so that's 8 1/2. So there's the template. And then we fold. Okay, and then we punch. And I flip it like this when I punch it, just because. Okay. Punch with the Scalloped Tag Topper punch, which will be from Stampin' Up in our annual catalog. It's been around for years. It's an oldie but goodie. Really indestructible. Okay, and then we have our template like this. And then I'm not going to do all the gluing again for you, but I just want to say there was this really cute paper, and it had this border. The Santa's Workshop paper had this border around it, and I'm like, what am I going to do with all those borders? So I started putting, started putting them on these treats. They came out really nice. So if you're going to put your border on and I want it to stick up, then you want to put it like that direction. Okay? And then you, again, you have your little pieces for, that one's too big, but you have your little pieces for up there. And we talked about those pieces as well. And then lastly, I'm going to show you my shopping list. All right, well, here are the other pieces. So that would be a piece that goes in the middle. And then I did have a piece for the top just sitting here. I really did. And then the measurements for this, okay, is you start out with a 6" by 1 7/8 inch, okay? And then you cut off 3/4 of an inch for the top part and 1/4 of an inch for the bottom part. So that's what you're left with. So you got 1/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and 5 inches by 1.78. So that's how it works. And then you put your thing together. Remember, I told you staple first, your little shopping list, staple your shopping list on there, and then cover up the staple with that paper. Okay, and then Santa, he comes right out. He sparkles. I mean, he's really fun. Ho, ho, ho. And then I told you to put this for you, which will help keep it in place. And then I used the little stickers the stickers are from Memories and More. We have a cardstock pack, Memories and More. And it came with like a little sheet of stickers, and I've been using these to embellish. But unfortunately, I do think we were out of these in our catalog, so, I mean, I'll link to them, what the heck, in case they come back in stock. But that's what I use the little stickers to decorate with. All right, so now for my shopping list. So, you know, when my crafty friends like Tracy0872 and Sherry Lee said, please do a tutorial on this, you don't know how long I embarked upon these different, things I needed for this. I'm like, okay, now I need to make a little list that will fit on the back of here. And so I went into Microsoft Word and I found this font called Grinched or something. It's like a Christmas type font. And then I thought that looked cute. And then I made little check marks and little lines. And then I had to make it so they would fit right on the back of this treat. So we're left with 3 columns, and use whatever font you have. So you're going to use columns, though. That worked really well. Columns, and this is just bullet points, but you change the style of your bullet point. Okay, so that's how I did it. Then I just went on a paper trimmer and cut these 2 inches. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you go, embark upon making some of these cute little treats. Again, thank you to the French demonstrator who gave out these swaps. I would love for you to find this video and be like, hey, that was me, so we can give you credit. And something you just never know. Okay, and they actually did a little stamping and cutting out as well. So thank you for watching. This is The Papered Chef. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe for more crafty inspiration. Until next time, see you later.